Listen carefully. There's a reason you're hearing this right now. You weren't supposed to. Not yet, but here it is. The truth that most people will live and die without ever knowing. And it's going to bother you. It's going to scratch at the back of your mind even when you try to forget it. Because once you hear this, you'll never be able to look at yourself the same way again. You think you know why you can't master that new skill, why you're stuck, why you keep starting and stopping. You think it's laziness or bad luck, or maybe you just weren't born with talent. Wrong. None of that is true. The real reason is far darker. It's because you've been trained to fail. Not consciously, not directly. But every system, every distraction, every fake definition of success you've been fed since you were a child was designed to keep you passive, to keep you watching life instead of building it. You were never supposed to question that, but you are now. Do you want to know what separates the few who master any skill from the millions who don't? It's not IQ, it's not money, it's not connections, it's identity. The real elite, the ones who rise, who dominate, who create a life most people can't even imagine. They decide who they are before the world tries to define them. Every time you say, I can't do this, or I'm just not good at that, you're not describing reality. You're reinforcing a prison built by your own mind, a prison designed by fear. And here's the most disturbing part. Your brain isn't broken. It's doing exactly what it was designed to do, protect you. Protect you from embarrassment, from failure, from the discomfort of being seen as a beginner. But that protection is a lie. It's manipulation. It's keeping you small. Every time you hesitate, every time you scroll instead of practice, every time you wait for motivation, your brain is choosing safety over growth. And safety, over time, destroys people. Think about it. Every person you admire, every expert, every master, they weren't born different from you. But they made a decision you haven't made yet. They accepted that they were going to look foolish. They accepted that they would fail. They accepted the price of becoming great. You haven't paid that price yet because you've been trained to avoid pain. But here's the truth. Pain is the entry fee to mastery. Every hour you spend fumbling, every mistake you make, every time you feel stupid, those aren't signs you're failing. They're the proof you're in the fight. Most people quit right there. That's why most people will never master anything. But not you. Not if you keep listening to me, because what I'm about to tell you next will show you exactly how to break this cycle. And once you do, you will never look at time, effort, or your own mind the same way again. Time, the most manipulated resource on earth. You think you own it, but you don't. You think you're in control of your schedule, but you're not. You're on someone else's timetable, social medias, televisions, your bosses, the endless cycle of entertainment designed to keep you busy but never productive. And that is exactly why you haven't mastered anything meaningful yet. Because mastery doesn't just require effort, it requires ruthless control over your hours. And I'm going to tell you something that no one wants you to know. You already have the time. You've just been trained to waste it. Do you know how elite performers, true masters, structure their days? They don't have 10 free hours. They have 20 focused minutes. 20. That's the first secret. Mastery isn't built by massive, heroic bursts of action. It's built by carving out small, non-negotiable, sacred blocks of time every single day and protecting them like your life depends on it. Because it does. You want to learn a language, build a business, become an expert at something? Stop saying, I don't have time. You have time. You just choose to spend it scrolling, consuming, distracting yourself. If you reclaimed even 1 hour a day, the hour you currently waste, you'd have 365 hours of focused skill building a year. That's 9 full-time work weeks. Imagine what you could do with that. But here's the truth that stings. You don't find time, you take it. You rip it away from the world that's been stealing it from you. You block it, you lock it, you show up for it no matter what. That's how mastery starts. Not with passion, not with talent, but with discipline. And discipline is rare because discipline feels like rebellion. When you set a timer for 20 minutes and shut out the world, you're rebelling against the system that thrives on your distraction. But that rebellion is what rewires your identity. Every time you show up for that 20 minutes, you're sending a message to your brain. I am no longer the kind of person who waits. I am the kind of person who creates. You want to know something else? Your brain fights this because it knows what's coming. It knows that once you commit to this kind of schedule, you can't lie to yourself anymore. No more excuses, no more someday, just action. And action exposes the truth. You either grow or you quit. But once you choose growth, momentum takes over. That's the hidden timetable of success. The first 30 days are about showing up, not improving. The next 30 are about repetition, not perfection. And after 90 days, you stop trying to learn and start becoming the person who does this as naturally as breathing. That's the shift. That's when the world starts to see you differently. That's when you start to see yourself differently. But it all starts with one decision: to reclaim the time that's been stolen from you. And listen carefully, because in the next part, I'm going to show you something even more dangerous: the secret power hidden in frustration and failure. Most people run from it. Masters hunt it, because that's where the real transformation happens. You've been taught to fear failure, to avoid it, to treat it like proof that you're not good enough. But here's the secret the masters know. The secret no one told you, because if you knew it, you'd be unstoppable. Failure is not a wall, it's a weapon. And if you know how to use it, it will accelerate your growth faster than anything else on earth. But first, you have to rewire how you see it. Listen closely, because this is going to hurt. Every time you feel frustrated, every time you feel stupid, every time you feel like quitting, your brain is doing something extraordinary. It's rewiring itself. Those moments when you're clumsy, awkward, and slow, that's neuroplasticity in action. Your brain is literally trying to build new pathways, but it doesn't feel like growth. It feels like pain. And this is where most people lose. They interpret struggle as proof that they're failing, when in reality, it's proof they're transforming. The discomfort you're running from is the exact doorway to mastery, but you've been manipulated into avoiding it your entire life. That's why people quit the second it gets hard, because they've been programmed to think hard means impossible. Think about this. Frustration is a signal, not a warning. When you're practicing and it feels effortless, you're not learning. You're repeating what you already know. But when it feels heavy, when it feels like your brain is overheating, that's the point where new connections are forming. You are literally becoming a different person in those moments. So here's what you need to do. Hunt that feeling. Chase the frustration. Because every time you push through it, you're not just learning the skill, you're training your mind to love growth. And that is the ultimate advantage. Here's a psychological trick to weaponize failure. Start recording your progress. Write it down. Track every session, every small win, every mistake. Because your brain loves evidence. On the days you feel like nothing's changing, you'll look back and see proof that you're improving, even if it's invisible right now. That evidence builds confidence, and confidence fuels consistency. And consistency over time makes you unstoppable. But it starts with this mental shift. Failure is not a threat, it's feedback. Pain is not the enemy, it's the map. Now let me challenge you. If you're serious about this, if you're ready to stop being like everyone else, comment these words right now. I hunt failure. Write it twice, word for word, because this is how you lock it into your identity. This isn't a motivational quote. It's a declaration. Every time you type it, you're rewiring your brain to see failure as fuel, not fear. And only a handful of people will have the guts to do it. The rest will keep watching, keep waiting, and keep losing. Don't be one of them, because what I'm about to reveal next is even deeper. There's a level of power hidden in your own mind that you've never been told about. It's not just about habits or effort. It's about controlling the very voice inside your head. And once you learn to manipulate that, you won't just learn faster. You'll reshape who you are at the core. The most dangerous enemy you'll ever face is not outside of you. It's inside your own head. That voice you hear when you try to start something new, that whisper that says, you're not ready, you're not good enough, you're going to fail, that is not you. It's a script, a pre-programmed defense mechanism your brain runs automatically to keep you comfortable, safe, predictable. But here's the truth no one ever told you. That voice can be manipulated, rewritten, controlled. And the people who master this, who bend their own inner dialogue to their will, become unstoppable. Let me show you how deep this goes. Every time you repeat a thought, your brain treats it as truth, not because it's accurate, but but because repetition rewires identity. That's why you believe the lies you've told yourself for years. I'm bad at this. I'm not disciplined. I can't focus. You've repeated them so often that your brain has accepted them as commands, which means, listen closely, you can reverse it. You can rewrite the code. But it requires precision. You don't fight that voice with positive thinking. You replace it with commands that force action. Here's the manipulation trick elite performers use. They don't argue with their inner voice. They dominate it. The second they hear resistance, they override it with direct physical commands. That's why the 5-second rule works. You feel hesitation creeping in? You don't think. You don't reason. You count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and move. Action interrupts thought. It hijacks the fear loop. The brain cannot hold on to excuses while you're moving. Masters understand this and they weaponize it. Every time you override hesitation, you weaken that old voice. Every time you take action, you feed a new one. Over time, the dominant voice in your head shifts from I can't to I move, I do, I learn. That's how identity rewiring begins. But let me give you something even more aggressive, something few people are willing to do. Every time your brain throws you an excuse, write it down, physically, then destroy it, rip it, burn it, throw it away. Because when you see that excuse on paper, you realize how ridiculous it actually sounds. And when you destroy it, you're training your subconscious to disconnect from it. It's symbolic, yes, but your brain responds to symbols. That's why rituals are powerful. You are, quite literally, reprogramming yourself with every repetition. This is why elite performers seem fearless. They're not fearless. They've just trained their inner voice to obey them instead of control them. And once you master that, your mind becomes a weapon. But we're not stopping here, because there's another layer to this, and it's far more dangerous. Most people don't just listen to their own inner voice. They let other people write it for them. Friends, family, society, media, all planting suggestions in your mind that you've accepted as truth without question. And if you don't learn how to manipulate that influence, you'll spend your entire life living under someone else's programming. And that, my friend, is where we're going next. I'm going to expose how you've been manipulated since birth, and how to flip that same manipulation to control your own growth, your own success, and even the way other people see you. This is the part you were never supposed to hear. Ready? You think you make your own choices. You don't. Not completely. Every decision you make, what you eat, how you dress, whether you practice that skill or scroll through your phone instead, has been influenced, shaped, and manipulated by forces you barely notice. Marketing experts, social media algorithms, even people close to you, they all plant seeds in your mind, shaping your behavior without you realizing it. And here's the dark truth. If you don't take control of this manipulation, you're not living your life. You're living theirs. Think about it. Why do you crave instant gratification instead of delayed mastery? Because the world has conditioned you to. Social media gives you dopamine hits every few seconds. Advertisements are engineered to make you feel incomplete until you buy something. Even people in your life, sometimes unintentionally, reinforce the idea that trying something new is risky, embarrassing, or pointless. They don't want you to change because if you do, you'll force them to confront their own mediocrity. So they feed you doubt, not because they're evil, but because they're trapped too. And most people never break out, but you can. And here's how. The first step is awareness. Start noticing the triggers that pull you. Every time you catch yourself procrastinating, ask, who benefits from this, me or someone else? Because 9 times out of 10, your distraction is making someone else rich while keeping you stuck. That realization alone is powerful. But the second step is where the real magic begins. You use the same manipulation tactics on yourself. You turn those triggers into weapons for your own growth. Here's how you hack your own mind. You create psychological anchors. Want to practice every day? Tie that action to a reward your brain craves. Finish 20 minutes of practice? Then, and only then, you get to enjoy that coffee, that show, that scroll. You train your brain like you'd train a dog, simple, direct, consistent. And over time, it starts craving the practice itself because it associates it with pleasure. This is exactly how the world manipulates you, but now you're flipping the script. Another power move, identity signaling. Tell people out loud what you're becoming. I'm learning this skill. I practice every day. Why? Because the human brain hates being inconsistent. The second you tell others who you are, your subconscious pushes you to act in alignment with that identity. That's why public declarations work. They trap you into becoming what you claim to be. Masters know this. That's why they act like the person they want to become long before they're fully skilled. The world eventually believes them because they believe it themselves. You see what's happening here? You're no longer the target of manipulation. You're the architect. You're bending the same forces that keep everyone else stuck to fuel your own rise. And once you understand this, you start to see through the illusions around you. You stop chasing approval. You stop caring what people think, because you realize that the only game worth playing is the one where you program yourself to win. But we're still not done, because now that you understand how to manipulate your own mind, the real challenge begins, staying consistent long enough to make mastery inevitable. And for that, you need to understand the truth about success most people never accept. It's not about speed. It's about endurance, and I'm going to show you exactly how to build that endurance next. This is where most people die, mentally, not physically, right here in the stretch of time between excitement and mastery. At first, learning a new skill feels electric. You're motivated, you're curious, you're imagining the future version of yourself. But then the spark fades, the results feel slow, progress becomes invisible, and this is where 99% of people quit. Not because they're incapable, but because they never understood the truth about success. Mastery isn't built in moments of excitement. It's forged in boredom. Endurance, not passion, is what separates the masters from everyone else. Listen to me very carefully. You're not losing because you're bad at the skill. You're losing because you're addicted to novelty. Your brain craves variety, quick wins, the rush of something new. That's why you jump from idea to idea, hobby to hobby, course to course, because novelty feels like progress. But real progress, real mastery, it's monotonous, it's repetitive, it's hours of doing the same thing, slightly better each time, long before anyone notices. And that's why almost no one makes it through this phase. They confuse boredom with failure. But boredom is the exact sign you're on the right track. It means you've moved past the beginner's hype and entered the territory where true skill is built. So how do you survive this? How do you stay consistent long enough to win when everyone else quits? You change your relationship with time. You stop thinking in days and start thinking in years. Every time you feel like quitting, ask yourself, what would happen if I just kept going for a year? Not perfectly, not obsessively, just consistently. Because here's the truth, time compounds. 20 minutes a day for a year is over 120 hours. That's the difference between someone who wishes they could play the guitar and someone who does, between someone who dreams of starting a bee, usiness, and someone running one. You think you need talent. You don't. You need time. Time applied consistently, relentlessly, no matter how dull it feels. Here's a mental trick that will save you. Stop measuring success by how far you have to go, and start measuring by how many days you showed up. Count streaks, not results. Why? Because streaks are addictive. Your brain hates breaking them. And once you've done something for 30, 60, 90 days, quitting feels like losing a part of yourself. That's when mastery stops being something you do. It becomes who you are. And identity is everything. You're not trying to learn a skill anymore. You're the kind of person who learns every day, no matter what. Do you see it now? This isn't just about learning something new. It's about rebuilding the way you live. Every day you show up, you're rewriting who you are. And once that identity locks in, quitting is no longer an option, because you would rather die than break who you've become. But there's still one more level to this transformation, one more truth that will push you beyond skill mastery and into something far more powerful. Because this isn't just about learning anymore, it's about using that skill, that discipline to rewrite your entire life. And that's what we're diving into next. Here's the truth that will hit you like a punch to the chest. Mastering a single skill is not just about that skill. It's a gateway drug to power. Once you've proven to yourself that you can transform in one area, your brain can no longer lie to you about the rest of your life. You've shattered the illusion that you're stuck, and that changes everything. Because if you can discipline yourself to learn a language, play an instrument, build a business, what else can you do? The answer? Anything. The same mental circuitry that makes you great at one thing can be replicated across everything. And that's why this matters so much more than the skill itself. Most people live trapped in one identity. I'm just not that kind of person. Not fit enough, not smart enough, not creative enough. But when you push through the boredom, the frustration, the resistance of learning something new, you rewrite that identity at the core. You go from I want to learn to I am a learner. And that shift is lethal in the best way. Because once you believe you can master one thing, you stop doubting whether you can master anything else. That's why people who get fit often build businesses. That's why people who learn one skill often stack dozens more. The identity snowballs. The proof stacks up. The old version of you dies, replaced by someone who bends reality to their will. But let me give you a warning. Because this is the part most people won't be ready for. The moment you change, the world will notice. Some will be inspired, others will resent you. You'll feel resistance from friends, even family who liked you better when you were average because it made them feel safe. And here's where you have to be ruthless. You are no longer living for their approval. You are no longer living inside the cage of other people's comfort. Your skill, your discipline, your transformation, these are weep-laud. Ons. And they will intimidate anyone still stuck in mediocrity. Let them be intimidated, because your job is not to make them comfortable. Your job is to evolve. And here's the greatest secret. Mastery in one area teaches you how to manipulate reality itself. It teaches you that everything, success, money, influence, freedom, is built the same way. Decision, discipline, repetition. That's the code. That's the system. And once you understand it, you can apply it anywhere. You stop seeing hard things as impossible, and you start seeing them as puzzles to solve, one consistent action at a time. And that's when you stop chasing opportunities and start creating them. So ask yourself right now, if you truly mastered this one skill you're chasing, if you became great at it, what else would you dare to take on? Because the answer to that question will terrify you. It will excite you, and it will expose exactly who you were meant to become. That's why this isn't just about learning anymore. This is about building a life no one can take from you. And in the final part, I'm going to show you exactly how to lock this transformation in forever, so you never, ever fall back into who you used to be. This is it, the point of no return, because after you hear what I'm about to say, you won't be able to unhear it. You'll either rise to meet it, or you'll spend the rest of your life haunted by the fact that you didn't. And I need you to feel the weight of this, because this is not just a motivational speech. This is the moment you choose who you will be for the rest of your life. Here's the truth. Every action you take is a vote for the person you're becoming. Every skipped practice, every "I'll do it tomorrow," every moment you give in to comfort. It's a vote for weakness, for staying small, for being forgettable. But every time you show up, every time you push through frustration, every time you do the work when no one's watching, you're casting votes for a new identity. You're building the future version of yourself one choice at a time. And here's the part no one tells you. There's no standing still. You're either moving toward mastery or slipping back into mediocrity. There is no neutral. You're evolving or you're decaying. So let me ask you something. Who are you voting for today? Because you're either reinforcing the story of who you used to be or writing the story of who you're meant to become. And once you make that decision, truly make it, your life changes forever. Not because of some mystical energy, but because your brain stops arguing with you. It stops asking, should I practice today? And starts saying, this is what I do. This is who I am. That's the switch. That's when discipline becomes automatic. When showing up stops feeling like a choice and starts feeling like oxygen. That's when mastery is no longer a dream. It's inevitable. But here's the part that will sting. Most people will never get here. They'll watch videos like this, nod their heads, feel inspired for an hour, And then they'll go back to scrolling, waiting, wishing. Don't be most people. Right now, this second, make the decision to kill that old version of you. The one who hesitates, the one who quits, the one who hides behind excuses. Let them die here, because you are not that person anymore. You are the person who learns, who grows, who masters. Say it with me. This is who I am now. Write it in the comments twice. Not for me, for you. Lock it in. Stamp it into your identity. Because once you declare it, there's no going back. Look at your life right now and understand this. If you keep going, if you stay consistent, if you treat every failure as fuel and every day as a vote for the person you're becoming, you will win. Not immediately, not easily, but inevitably. And one day, months from now, maybe years from now, you'll wake up and realize you're no longer learning the skill. You've become it. And with that, you've unlocked the most dangerous, liberating truth a human being can ever discover. If you can master one thing, you can master anything. That's the real secret. That's the gift you've just been handed. Now take it, protect it, and never let it go. Because your life from this moment forward will never be the same.